This is the first video game magazine I ever owned. I begged my dad to buy it for me because within these well-worn bindings lies, oh god, not that one, 7 whole pages talking all about the next addiction for those afflicted with Pokemania. 100 new monsters? New types? A day and night cycle based on real time? Breeding? And oh my god, it's in color. Dad!
What?
Buy me Pokemon Gold.
Why don't you get a job?
I'm only 12. I wanted that game so bad, the local crack addict looked at me and said, damn, that kid's jonesing. They called me Skelly the Gremlin back in the day, always fiending for my next Pokemon fix. But if you can believe it, in recent years I've been seeing a lot of opinions that Gen 2 wasn't so great after all.
Generation 2 is the worst generation in the entire Pokemon series.
How could anybody say that about my darling Johto region? Well, that's why we're here, to find out if Gold today is like a perfectly aged Merlot, or a lobster you left in the fridge for so long that it's broken down and created an ecosystem. I'm a skeleton, and this is gonna be one hell of an adventure. Hey, did you know you can play Gold on an original model Game Boy? How wild is that? Booting this up for the first time in over a decade. You can't get much more comfy than this. It feels like coming home, since the Johto region is actually pretty similar to where I live in the heart of Appalachia, because of all the trees and rivers, not the traditional Japanese architecture. There's a great article on The Gamer that shows all the real-world inspirations for the in-game areas, like Osaka being the inspiration for Goldenrod City. Traveling in this game means a lot of hoofing it through lush green forests and humble villages that exist in harmony with the environment. Hell, the towns are even named after trees and flowers. It's not like Ruby and Sapphire where the whole plot is about striking a balance with nature. Gold and Silver is just that by default, and it's why Johto is my favorite region. Now, if only it had a Dollar General on every corner, then it would really feel like home.
Nature is amazing.
After waking up at the ungodly hour of 5 a.m. and getting a sick Pokegear from my mom, I headed next door to run an errand for Professor Elm, because I'm just that kind of guy. And since this is a world where belligerent Rattatas and Pidgeys will put your ass on a milk carton, he lets me choose a bodyguard in the form of a porcupine with flames instead of needles, a bipedal crocodile, and a dinosaur? Traveling through a heavily forested region with a fire type sounds like a great idea, so I chose Cyndaquil and named him Habanero, because he is one spicy boy.
Holy shit!
In the first game, you could nab a free potion if you check the PC, but now your starter gets a complimentary berry to ensure its first slap fight doesn't go badly. Held items are great, but you don't start getting the really useful ones until much later. I smacked around the local wildlife a bit to get Habanero up to a comfortable level and made a pit stop in Cherry Grove City. And after a short jaunt north, I arrived at Mr. Pokemon's house. Oh, sweet, I received a mysterious egg from Mr. Pokemon, a Pokédex from Professor Oak, and an urgent call from Professor Elm, presumably in the process of being ransacked.
Oh, for crying out loud!
Do you have any idea who you're talking to?
This distinguished gentleman will be named Dirk, less the daring and more the delinquent. In the game, he's just a jerk that wants to be the Pokemon League champion, so basically the same as the last game but with a criminal record. If you read the books, he's actually a secret agent or something.
I am a very dangerous person, and I regularly disobey the law.
And yeah, don't get excited, they're not very good. With a full set of Pokeballs and the goal of taking on the League gyms, I can finally begin my Johto journey, starting by catching an ace in the hole for any fresh player. Welcome back, Dante.
What the hell is this?
Oh no!
What's that, youngster Joey? I just took your Rattata behind the woodshed and now you want to exchange phone numbers? That sounds like a great idea.
Are you sure about that?
So far, I'm having a great time, just like the old days. Sure, the only new monster I've seen so far is Sentret, but if I had been playing at night, all the Pidgeys would have been replaced by Hoot Hoots. I like Hoot Hoot, but man, total missed opportunity to make it a dark flying type. When I was a kid, it never really bothered me how Gen 2 reused so much of the old roster. But I'm not a kid anymore. Am I? We'll talk more about this little problem later. After walking only half a block, guess who's calling me up already?
Joey,
you know you my boy and all, but you just used the words tough and Caterpie in the same sentence. Sort your f***ing life out, mate. Welcome to Violet City. I like the idea of the Sprout Tower. You know, it's a huge structure that sways in the wind like a bell sprout. I've just never been too stoked about climbing it. It's nothing but dull fights with a bunch of monks that all use nothing but bell sprouts. Whoa, excuse the out of me, this one has a hoot hoot. Phew, man, that was close. I wasn't sure I'd be able to handle that curveball. It's morphin' time. Damn, that's a sick mohawk. Oh, hello, Dirk. Yeah, you'd better run. Let me just grab this free escape rope. Super nice of Game Freak to put that there so I don't have to slog my way out of here. And now to send my fancy new Quilava against this final sage so I can nab the Flash HM. Yes, Joey, tell me all about how you failed to catch a Metapod. I am positively butt-clenched with excitement. Ladies and gentlemen, feathers are about to fly in this nail-biting battle against Faulkner. Nah, I'm just gonna throw rocks at him. This gym is just the first example of how Gold doesn't like to utilize most of its new roster. 100 new mons were added, with some new flying types like Noctowl and Skarmory. This fight could have been way more memorable if he whipped out a Skarmory. Get players introduced to the new steel type early. Instead, he gets a Pidgey and a Pidgeotto. Just think about that, a gym leader with a Pidgey. Oh, and by the way, he has a Noctowl in the books. Down here you can find the Ruins of Alph, which is all about the unknown. I only have one thing to say about this place. It's a waste of time. F it. We out. With Freedom the Jigglypuff now able to use Flash, I backtracked a bit to this little cave and caught Jet the Zubat, who through the power of happiness will become a valuable disruption tool on my team later. Also, I now have an incredible, edible egg. I really should have added this Mareep to my team. Ampharos would have spared me a ton of grief later. But do you notice something about this guy? He doesn't look much like a sheep at all. We get sheep, bipedal sheep, poor Joey still can't catch that Metapod. Struggle of the century. For some reason, you don't need Flash to light up Union Cave. It would have made a lot more sense to require it so players would know they have to go back and do the Sprout Tower. 5 points from Game Freak. And now give him 20 points back for letting me take turns while Wrap or Bind is active. It's now more like a temporary poison effect. Thank God, no more lobotomite gameplay. Rock and stone, my fellow geology enthusiast.
Rock and stone!
Welcome to Azalea Town, where the theme is guaranteed to put a big old smile on your face. What's that, Kurt? Team Rocket's making a comeback and they're cutting off Slowpoke tails at the bottom of the well?
Jesus, that's him.
Now Kurt will make me one specialized Pokeball per day using Apricorns. Ultra Balls suit me just fine, but back in the day, I really enjoyed seeing all the different kinds of balls I could get. Oh no, oh heavens, a bug-type gym. Whatever will I do? Poor Bugsy. From where you're kneeling, it must seem like an 18-carat run of bad luck. The truth is, the game was rigged from the start.
Ain't that a cute little...
Guess who's back? Back again. Listening to this guy say he hates weak people and then right after getting a call from Joey about how he can't catch a Caterpie is some galaxy brain level coincidence. Now it's time to chase a Farfetch'd around Ilex Forest, this game's version of Viridian Forest. I like how the trees block out the sun even if you're playing during daytime hours. It's a nice little detail. I captured a Paris named Big Mush, but wound up not using it. Combine this with passing on Mareep earlier and it seems I was hell-bent on making water Pokemon a problem in the future. Well, don't worry, I can assure you with 100% certainty that this will not come back to bite me later. Grabbed a Farfetch'd by the tail, acquired cut to clear my trail, with headbutt I shall assail, and now upon this forest I must bail. Man, the journey of a Pokemon trainer sure is a tiresome one, but I bet it's great for your buns and thighs.
Yeah, buns and ties.
There's a daycare right before you reach Goldenrod, so I left Freedom the Jigglypuff and Togepi there to see if they'll get friendly with each other. Oh, sick! You can even catch a Ditto right outside. Pokemon's version of a Trollop. 10 points to Game Freak, they knew what they were doing. I did a little shopping in the hustlin' bustlin' Goldenrod shopping tower, scored a free bike in the interest of advertising. And checked out the game corner to engage in every child's favorite pastime, gambling. And it's still not very fun. These damn machines are even stingier than Mr. Pink.
Jesus Christ, I mean, these ladies aren't starving to death. They make minimum wage.
I even used save states to play a perfect game of card flip, and I still didn't earn enough coins for something decent. Hell, I'd have more fun fishing up Magikarps with the old rod.
It is now time for crab.
Hey! I didn't know you could get crabby this early. Favorite monster acquired? Let's catch another and stick him in the daycare. It's a good idea to raise a monster from the lowest level possible, since it'll result in higher stats in the long run. It'll be a while before the magic happens, so let's go check out the bug catching contest. On Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday, you can come here and compete to catch the best bug. What constitutes a best bug? Why, obscure mechanics that aren't explained to the player, of course. 16 points if half of the defense IV results in an odd number. Man, just catch a high-level Pinsir or Scyther without beating it to within an inch of its life. That should be enough. I won't need the Sunstone, but I will get a ton of use out of Clamp the Pinsir as HM fodder. Let's check back at the daycare. You don't know where the egg came from, huh? Well, I'll tell you.
Hot crab!
Why can't I get a phone number from one of these beauties? Instead, I've got Joey over here whose fit is mid with even worse skills. This is the gym that made kids turn the game off and go play Kirby's Dream Land or something. Upon this unholy ground sleeps a weapon of mass destruction that was notorious for literally bowling over entire teams with a big smile on its face. Say hello to Whitney's Miltank.
I am the storm that is approaching.
I had to use scenes from the cartoon here because, well... I even reset and fought her again because I really wanted to show what this beast could do, but it was even easier the second time. I'm just too good, guys. It always surprises me that Whitney doesn't give you the rollout TM. That's actually north of Goldenrod right here. Instead, she gives me a tract, which I'll be getting a lot of use out of later. Now that I have the squirt bottle, let's go annoy this tree. I gotta say, Pseudo-Woodo is an amazing name for a tree mimic, and a great curveball for everybody that assumed it was a grass type. I totally would have used him, but I've already got a rockin' dude on my team. I got the Rock Smash TM for clearing the way, and then did a little backtracking for some items. Having multiple bag slots was a godsend for this game, but you do still have to do some inventory management from time to time. Here I tried headbutting a tree at night and found a sleeping Spearow. That's a great little detail, although realistically it should be both awake and extremely pissed off at me. Yeah, Mom, where my money at? The very moment I arrived in Ekritique City, I was struck with this incredible urge to do combat with Japanese geishas, so I took on the kimono dancers and their evolutions. I am so glad that Game Freak decided to nix the giant nasty tongue. Uh-oh. Apparently the way I battled was like a dance? Sure. Thanks for the surf, HM.
Huh?
I really appreciate how natures weren't a thing yet, so you don't have to hatch a dozen eggs to get the right stats. I tried playing some of the remake, and see, I'm already over it. You can either use them on with handicapped stats, or you can take the time to catch or breed something good. Pick your poison. Guides used to say that males had higher attack, while females were more defensive. That's a load of The stat difference was negligible, so really all you had to worry about were IVs, or inherent values, and I'm not even gonna pretend like I care about those. If Game Freak didn't care enough to explain, then neither do I. Morty's gym is so goddamn pathetic. Every fight in here is just one of the Ghastly evolution line. The first guy uses 5 Ghastlys, all the same level. Morty himself, 1 Ghastly, 2 Haunters, and a Gengar. Did Game Freak forget that there is a perfectly good new ghost type with an interesting move that could have made this fight at least marginally more engaging? I think every gym should have used at least one of the new monsters. I don't understand Game Freak's design choice here. And yes, overuse of the old roster is absolutely one of the things that naysayers to this generation complain about, and I don't blame them. And just so I can feel like the time I wasted reading the books is being put to use, you guessed it, Morty has a Misdreavus in the books. With my mind boggling at the missed potential of that entire gym, I headed to the burned tower and encountered Dirk.
Oh my god, we're back again.
Ready to antagonize me once again. You talk a lot of smack for somebody who's 0-3. Shall we make it 4?
I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
I really should have named this guy Deal With It. He's not as strong as I'd like, but the 100% chance of causing confusion on the first turn is very helpful. This is why I hate battling wimps. There's no challenge in it. Damn, this guy's on that prescription strength copium. Who else would be inhabiting a burned tower other than a couple of fire breathers? I beat this one so hard that it knocked the color out of him. It's so weird seeing a black and white sprite in gold. Well, there's not much left to do here besides scaring off the legendary dogs in the basement. I didn't even remember a nugget hiding here. That was just my sharply attuned gamer intuition. While visiting Mahogany Town, try a Rage candy bar. Oh yeah? Are they all the rage right now?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Game's pulling the classic stick an NPC in front of a door and don't move them till I do something shtick. So let's find out what's going on with Gyarados at the Lake of Rage. Despite being this far into the game, 90% of my fights are still against the old roster. The only new mons I saw on my way to the lake were Mareep and Flaffy, which isn't new at this point, and Giraffarig.
Nobody likes you!
I forgot to show it, but if you scroll through your radio at the lake, you can actually hear the signal that's making Gyarados go bazonkers. It even made this one go shiny, which awakened a deep-seated frustration that's been haunting me for all my years of playing this series. Not once have I gotten a shiny. Throughout Gold, Ruby, Emerald, Pearl, Black 2, Y, and even the most recent Violet, shiny Pokemon are my unicorn. So tantalizingly close, and yet forever out of reach. I thought maybe, just maybe, I would finally get a shiny for this video. Yeah. Maybe I'm a Chinese jet pilot. Hey, at least I managed to catch this pity shiny, because if I'm gonna have a mon just for water HMs, might as well do it in style. Hello, Lance. Don't mind me, I just got a chill down my spine. He wants me to help him investigate the source of the signal in Mahogany Town. I must have had a stroke that day because I kinda got lost for a bit. I wasn't paying attention when he said Mahogany Town, so I thought this was when you assault the radio tower. While wandering around, I did pick up Slinky the Eevee, and upgraded my Pokegear with a radio function by answering a 5-question quiz. And oh my god, if you played this as a kid, there is no way you didn't fail this at least once. Does Kurt, the Pokeball craftsman, use Apricorn? Yes. Ooh, sorry, no, the answer was Apricorn.
Do you think we should go to commercial?
You Alex. Just because Apricorn and Mary are spelled differently, that is Jigglypuff seen from above levels of bullshit.
And the answer is A. Jigglypuff seen from above.
Alright, Lance, I'm here. What's the game plan?
Violence.
I always enjoyed teaming up with Lance here. Kids just getting into the series likely had no idea who he was, but I always knew him for the avatar of destruction he truly is. He's definitely a little bit overqualified for this place, because aside from a Murkrow and a Ditto, every fight in here is against the same old rocket fodder. Even the first executive only has a Zubat, Raticate, and Coughing. That's pathetic. These guys are supposed to be Mafia generals, so why isn't he stomping my guts out with a Tyranitar? It turns out the radio signal is being powered by a bunch of electrodes. You know what that means. And for my trouble, I got the Whirlpool HM, one of the most unnecessary HMs in the entire series. I look forward to seeing you again.
Okay.
Now watch me foolishly take on Price's gym next. I knew full well I was going in too early, I just wouldn't realize how early until it was all over. The first red flag was this level 28 dugong that my party was woefully unprepared for, to the point where I had to smokescreen spam while it was resting. This was the first indicator that my team does not have a solution for water types. And did I heed this warning?
No.
And this was just the first trainer battle. Oh geez.
I put a whole bag of jelly beans up my...
You know that infamous image of Calvin taking a piss? I mean, it's not just me, right? I would make a joke about my elders respecting me, but I can't even front. Price gave me one hell of a time. I squeezed by with liberal use of confuse rays and smoke screens, but it was not a graceful win. Oh, well that explains a lot. Damn, I'm gangster. Now it's back to Ekritique and going in the direction I should have gone, but not before backtracking for some items with Surf. Really good items too. Here's one of the like 5 or 6 rare candies in the whole game.
Ooh, piece of candy.
You'll score an EXP share if you go see Mr. Pokemon after defeating the Red Gyarados. Though back in my day, it only shared experience with the monster holding it.
These darn kids today? Spoiled rotten, I tell ya. Why, back in my day we played games on a brick while drinking Fruitopia and listening to Nirvana.
Wait, what am I talking about? That was awesome. Oh yeah, and I wound up deleting Joey from my contact list. Sorry that running gag didn't really go anywhere, but when somebody named Chad wants to exchange phone numbers, you take action. I'm back! Here's Dirk the Dreadful to greet me in Olivine City, talking about how sick Pokemon should be allowed to die. Man, he is a nasty piece of work.
I'm gonna kick your butt.
Who the hell would trade a Krabby for a Voltorb? The next gym leader, Jasmine, won't do her job unless I bring her medicine for a sick Ampharos. So it's time for a summer. But for God's sake, don't forget to talk to this random sailor in a diner for the Strength HM. This isn't so much an issue on your first playthrough when you should be talking to everybody. It's when you play again and you don't feel like chatting up every local that missing important stuff can be problematic. Here's a quick rundown of all the riveting wild encounters you can experience while surfing. We've got Tentacool. I've always been fond of Tentacool. Oh is that a Tentacool? Just use repels. Seriously, don't do it to yourself. And whatever you do, don't go into the Whirl Islands without Flash. Whoever it was that put an escape rope near the entrance, I owe you a drink. I reached Cianwood City, picked up the medicine, and prepared to take on Chuck's gym. By some crazy coincidence, I used a rare candy on Golbat and learned Wing Attack right before going in, giving me the means to tear through his fighting types. Hey, it's my man Knob. You been working out? Damn it, I was so close to sweeping the entire gym. Did not expect the squared up Poliwrath. 6 gyms down. Onward and upward.
Go put a shirt on! You look like 200 pounds of birch!
But first, talk to yet another random NPC for the Fly HM. What do you mean I can't teach Fly to Golbat? Oh, but Pidgey, that's just fine. And then there's this guy who'll give you one of his prized Pokemon. Oh hell yeah, dude! Is it Eevee? Porygon? Jinx? Let's see what you got.
What in the hell is this?
What?
Back to Olivine, all the way up the lighthouse again, and give Jasmine the medicine so we can finally throw down. And guys, I know I'm repeating myself here, but this fight is really disappointing. 2 Magnemites and a Steelix. This was the game's chance to show what Steel types can do, not to mention using Skarmory. Again, that's 2 perfect opportunities utterly squandered. Game Freak was so dead set on making this game a cakewalk when they should have been challenging players so they'd be prepared for the hell marches to come. Blue wasn't afraid to slap down overconfident kids, so why is Gold mostly a snooze fest? What's that, Professor Elm? A bunch of guys who are up to no good have started making trouble in the neighborhood? This sounds like a job for an 11-year-old boy.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Oh god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Roll out.
Oh my god! Whatever.
A quick detour, if you will. If you ever ask somebody their favorite food or movie, you'll often get a wishy-washy response. Oh, I don't really like food, or oh, I never really thought about it. Shrimp and snatch, by the way. But there's one thing that everybody has a favorite of, and it's the Pokemans. Kingler, Volcarona, Berserker, Azumarill. These are a few of my favorite things. And my Gen 2 favorite almost wound up being Heracross. It's kinda rare, you gotta headbutt trees until you knock one down. I just really like the design. A Hercules beetle with fighting bug typing to give it some resistance to psychics. Although a single peck would likely murder one. Heracross is pretty great, except for the whole sucking off Bulbasaur thing. Suck. Check it out, I actually found a figure of that old running gag. I also have this. Hey, looks like Jet finally got happy enough to evolve into Crobat. You can make Pokemon happier by walking around, feeding them vitamins, giving them haircuts, not sucking at the game. All kinds of stuff. And thank God, Crobat can learn fly. Now then, back to pushing Team Rocket's shit in. Here I am, 7 badges in hand, about to deal the final killing blow to the Pokemafia, and I'm still fighting Rattatas, Zubats, and Coughings. One guy has 5 Rattatas. The freaking executive has 5 Coughings and a Wheezing. This is not game design. This is hurriedly throwing together garbage fights and still leaning far too heavily on the original roster. I keep bringing this up, but it really is that bad. What was with Game Freak's hardcore aversion to using the 100 new monsters? Most of this game feels like Kanto 2.0, and it's not like this ruins the game or anything. I just get upset because it's such an easy fix. I don't think I saw a single Mantine, Skarmory, Misdreavus, Sunflora, Tyrogue, or a Smeargle in my entire playthrough, and I damn sure didn't see a Tyranitar. This is just the first part of the radio tower. The director was stashed away in the underground warehouse, and I need his card key to continue. Oh my god, it's Dirk the Disrespectful.
I saw you, so I tailed you. I don't need you underfoot while I...
Nobody cares.
Oh, I'm never too busy to shove your face in it. Huh, looks like somebody doesn't treat their Golbat well enough for it to evolve. That's a good detail, very in character for Dirk. He even made his Haunter cut his own HP in half with Curse. 3 guesses how that went for him. And it looks like Game Freak hadn't quite decided on Sneasel's final color scheme yet. It's not much of a redemption story, but you do start seeing glimpses of your rival wising up after this fight. Now, where was I?
Oh, shit! Alright!
Finally, I get to replace Ember with something better. Only took 31 levels. After fumbling through a shutter puzzle and plowing through the same old rocket fodder, I got the director's card key and nabbed an amulet coin for doubling money from trainer battles. Very useful. Back at the radio tower for the final rocket showdown, and Game Freak seriously put an executive in here with nothing but a Golbat.
You know you can't bring that weak ass stuff up in this Humpty Bumpy!
Huh, I guess Glare didn't have a 100% chance to paralyze back then. The last executive uses a Houndoom, which is an appropriate final boss, and a damn cool one to boot. Just look at him, it's a straight up Hellhound. And with that, Team Rocket has been finished for good. Until 20 years later, when they come back in Ultra Sun and Moon as Team Rainbow Rocket. I don't have time. To Blackthorn City! Walking into the ice path, I realized a golden opportunity to add a new member to the team. This is Snowball the Swinub.
And she is awesome.
Now it's time to rock some dragons, who do nothing but use Thunderwave and Dragon Rage. Gadzooks, I'd better do some literal training in the mountains. Xena, Warrior Wobbuffet, who I only just briefly considered using. Standing around hoping I get hit by the right attack so I can counter it, that's not really my style. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! Oh, thanks a lot, Kurt. Your balls suck. Alright, now that I've trained up a bit, yup, still getting my ass handed to me. Maybe if I pump up King with some protein.
Then we are here to pop you up.
Prepare yourself for my level 27 swine up, Claire. What? Oh. Well, ain't that a kick in the head? Jet put in some serious work, taking out her 3 Dragonairs and resisting most of their Thunder Waves.
Nice try, jackass.
Her Kingdra kinda scared me, for reasons I've gotten into already, but Habanero managed to handle it with headbutt flinches. What do you expect from such a dopey looking dragon? Alright, Claire, you know the routine. Say I'm the man and pass me a badge.
Nope.
She won't give me my badge until I bring her a dragon fang from right behind the gym. What's the matter? This errand won't be hard for you, unless your victory was a fluke. Lady, the place is filled with low-level Magikarp and Dratini. Jabroni Joey and his yee-yee-ass Rattata could get your stupid fang. Well, at least I captured Coco the Dratini to fill out my crew, and Claire does have the decency to come to me after I find the claw. She coughs up the badge and a Dragon Breath TM. No, it doesn't have anything to do with my breath. First she calls this cave a challenge, and now this? Claire, have you considered taking up comedy? Just a few things left to do before heading to the Elite Four. Get a Master Ball from Professor Elm? Climb the burned tower? Are you serious? More Rattatas? I've exterminated so many of these things I ought to be getting paid for it. I briefly considered saving the Master Ball for one of the legendary dogs, but I changed my mind pretty fast. Why is it green? With the Sacred Ash that Ho-Oh was holding, I now have a one-time use Pokemon Center in my pocket, and I never use it, just like I don't use legendaries. What do you think I am, not a real gamer? Victory Road is loaded with cool trainers, which is good. You can always rely on these guys to whip out something interesting. I don't remember Quagsire being so prone to fleeing.
Why are you running?
There she is, Piloswine, or Piloswine, whatever. What an all-around lovable design. Hair over the eyes with cute little tusks and a pig nose. One of the best mons of this generation. I much prefer this over Mamoswine, and you know she got that thickness. HP for days. Just watch as she slowly turns into the most valuable asset of my team. Now that King the Krabby has learned Crabhammer at level 41, I can finally let him evolve into Kingler, and sadly this does little to increase his effectiveness, due to another one of this game's hidden mechanics, which we'll talk about later. I seem to remember this cave being a lot more complex. It definitely has nothing on the Victory Road from the previous game. Dirk shows up just as I'm about to leave to take one more crack at me. Invincible, huh? Dude, I'm about to beat you so hard that Joey's gonna pity you.
What a great technique.
This bloke's got attitude.
Danger, danger, danger.
Gotta hand it to him, he hasn't lost his determination despite multiple failures. And you know what? I think we could all learn something from Dirk the Defeated. Now, any of you kids that recently finished Scarlet or Violet should know, Pokemon games didn't used to be 100% snooze fests. Instead, it was only, around 95%, with all the challenge condensed down into 4 or 5 difficulty spikes. Spikes sharp enough to pierce through Totodile skin boots. If you think I'm walking into the Elite Four with this underleveled of a team, including a level 12 Dratini, I've heard that this particular generation was designed to be enjoyed over a longer period by engaging with all the side stuff, you know, like bug catching contests and trainer rematches. That way you won't end up underleveled. I listen to that and I just don't get it. I seriously doubt that doing every trainer rematch you can over the course of a week would have any significant impact on your power level. In my experience, you will always be underleveled by the time you reach this point. So that means it's
time to go do that work. Say hi, Burn.
Alright, we got Coco evolved and at level 30. Still won't be much help, but I'm tired of grinding. Let's get him, guys.
Bring it on.
Yeah, the first battle would be against a psychic trainer. I got real lucky against his Xatu with confusion and bite flinches. Maybe this won't be so bad after all. Jinx, huh? I'm getting Lorelei flashbacks. All it takes is a couple of flame wheels and this Ganguro is Gangu roasted. Her Slowbro one-shotted Jet, so I brought out Snowball thinking she could tank some psychic attacks.
Jesus Christ.
Whatever, we beat it thanks to confusion. Executor was no problem. The real threat came with his second, more powerful Xatu. I came out on top, but... Methinks I should have grinded more. Aw, dude, it's Koga! He's been promoted to Elite Four member. Jet took out his Ariados and Venomoth. Habanero burned down his Fortress, which is doubly weak to fire thanks to its bug and steel typing.
That's what we like to call big damage.
Dante rocked Muck's world with a one-shot Earthquake and rolled out on Crobat while resisting its toxic attacks. Can't believe I'm about to say this, but this was even easier than Bruno from the first game. How are you in the Elite Four again? Oh, shit. Guys, look, it's Bruno. What the hell? That crab hammer is nowhere near as powerful as it should be. I smell shenanigans. At least King's defense is high enough to tank Hitmontop pretty easily. Jet made short work of his Hitmonchan. Dante made Onyx realize the magnitude of the situation. His Machamp scared me a bit, so I landed a few smoke screens before finishing it off with Coco. Remarkably, he managed to take out 2 of my crew. Bruno, well done. Your redemption arc is complete.
Now it's time to face the darkness.
There's really not much to say here. Karen's Umbreon was surprisingly tanky, but the rest of her team went down pretty easily. Her Gengar even screwed itself with Curse. Her post-battle dialogue has been remembered fondly by many, and I can see why. Strong Pokemon, weak Pokemon, that is only the selfish perception of people. Truly skilled players should try to win with their favorites. Wise words, Karen. As long as your favorite isn't Shuckle. Hello, Lance. Did you think I wouldn't remember all the pain and frustration you caused me so many years ago? Oh, I remember, but I was just a cringy little boy back then. Now I'm based, red-pilled, goated with the sauce, and ready to bust down sexual style on your nerd ass. I stomped out his Gyarados without incident, but he wastes no time bringing out his first Dragonite. 1 of 3, with each having a powerful electric, ice, and fire type move. Since he sent this one out against Kingler, I assumed correctly it was the one with Thunder, and sent in Jet to confuse it. Surely there's no way it could overcome confusion and land a Thunder. It only has a 50% chance to hit. That's fine. Snowball, powder his Pete's Dragon looking ass. Charizard, huh? I think Dante can handle this.
Come on, wimp.
Oh my god! He needs some milk!
Boy, King sure picked a good time to land a Crab Hammer crit.
I scream, you scream, we all scream!
For Hyper Beam. Good lord, these Dragonites are out for blood. But this fight ain't over yet. I took advantage of the Hyper Beam recharge and landed a Thunder Wave. Now it's time for some damage control with items, otherwise known as the Equalizer for going against monsters that are 10 levels higher than mine. Well, that didn't last very long. No problem, I finished it with a Stomp from King and just 1 more Dragonite to go. The one with Fire Blast. You have underestimated me, Lance. My strats are infallible, my strength undeniable, my bones unbreakable. Good luck landing a Fire Blast through 4 smoke screens and Outrage Confusion. Just 1 more Powder Snow should do it. I've got this. Oh my god, no. Resin, no good cheating cape wearing nerd. Who the hell names their kid Lance anyway? I never forgive-y, I never forget-y. For making me grind an hour, you're gonna regret-y.
And another one. Hammer time. Smoke, smoke, smoke. I am angry.
Alright, let's go back to the year 2000. I'm blissfully reading the 10 reasons why Pokemon Gold was gonna rock my world when I got to number 6. Let's just say a special surprise awaits those who beat Gold and Silver. It's almost like getting 2 games for the price of 1. Oh my god! Somebody at Game Freak actually said the words, "Let's add Kanto" after they beat the game, and they deserve a freaking medal. There's nothing more mind-blowing to a kid than learning that their adventure isn't over yet. Gold is set 3 years after the events of Blue, and as such, the region has seen some change. But first, we have to get there, aboard the SS Aqua. And just listen to that music! It can't be coincidence that this is the most upbeat and cheerful theme in the whole game. This is the first step on the way to more adventures, and the track perfectly captures that excitement and joy that kids were feeling. Aw, that's adorable. Alright bro, you wanna come at the champ, you better be swinging hard. Let's see what you got. He also has a golem, which to be fair does put him leagues above most of the trainers I've steamrolled up to now, which will be a running theme moving forward. Almost everybody is tougher in Kanto.
Ooh, piece of candy.
To be back in Vermilion City. 3 in-game years and this guy still hasn't finished building his house. You know what? I think I'll emasculate Lieutenant Surge for old time's sake. This poor guy, you know he just breaks out in a cold sweat whenever somebody walks in with a ground type.
You can't hurt me.
No, Daddy, no!
It's too bad there isn't an electric type that could easily counter this incredibly specific and crippling weakness. Well, I guess I'll check out the other Kanto gems. We'll call it an inspection by the new boss. That's me. I'm the boss. The wildlife hasn't gotten much stronger in 3 years, but I guess traveling would be a serious problem if everything was swole as hell. I don't know why Amazon keeps recommending me these. Mr. Psychic in Saffron City is still doing his thing, giving out free TMs for one of the most powerful moves in the game. Going into an alley for the first time makes me sorta anxious. Yeah, give me all your money. Good news and bad news. The bad news is Sabrina is still strong as shit. The good news is at least she doesn't have that whip anymore. It's hardly a technical fight. Aside from setting up a reflect with Mr. Mime, all she does is spam psychic over and over. Lady, I'm a YouTuber. Your psychic assaults are nothing compared to the mental curb stomps I've received on this website for 4 years now. Thanks for the Marsh badge. Why the hell is it called that? No longer is Lavender Town #1 on the list of Kanto's most depressed cities. 3 years later, and it's now a pleasant little place with one of the nicest themes in the series. Junichi Masuda wasn't the only one taking on composing duties anymore, with Morikazu Aoki and Go Ichinose handling a lot of the soundtrack. Ichinose in particular has a knack for composing some truly delightful themes, like Aspersha City from Black and White 2. Wait, Kanto radio station? No, that's the Pokemon Tower. Oh my god! You turned the Pokemon Cemetery into a radio tower? What the f is wrong with you?
But don't rattle me bones! Rattle me bones!
Gamer intuition. Remember that thing Karen said about sticking with your favorite mons? Well, back in the day, there was a small problem with that. A lot of Pokemon, like Kingler for example, are actively screwed by a system that I didn't fully understand until making this video. See, that's my problem with Game Freak. They didn't tell me about EVs or IVs, they didn't tell me about stabs, and they didn't tell me about how a move's typing decides if it scales with special or attack. Today, you can easily see what a move uses with these little icons. But back then, if a move was, say, fire, ice, dragon, dark, etc., it would always scale with special. If it was poison, ground, bug, or ghost, it was physical. Ghost was physical. Physical. Ghost was physical. Physical. Ghost. 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 It was so surreal to finally learn why Kingler's Crab Hammer hits more like a Pico Hammer, despite its sky-high attack stat. It's because water scales with special. He's still a cool dude, and he'll always be one of my favorites, but for now, I think it's time for something a little more sharpshootery. Meet Gat the Octillery. She is a way better special attacker, which is something my team sorely needed. She even gets her own unique attack with Octazooka. One of my buddies even informed me that it was originally supposed to look more tank-like, complete with a helmet. It's probably good that they scrapped that. Giving your monsters armor is stepping into Digimon territory, or Mega Man in this guy's case.
What? Your item finder's going off?
Gamer intuition. Berserk Gene confuses you for 256 turns, by the way. So basically, a typical walk through Mount Moon.
Do you smell fish?
I like how the game simulates morning light by adding a slight yellow tinge to everything. Cerulean City has never looked better. Misty's not around, but the one remaining member of Team Rocket is, and I gotta tell you, this guy's dialogue, it really cracks me up. Oh no, you seen me already. I make big mistake. Me am a Team Rocket member kind of guy. Battle begin? We do. This guy really should have gotten the memo. The Nugget Bridge Challenge is kinda still around, it's just not on the bridge anymore. And you know what? I think Skelly wants a nuggie.
Surprise, motherfucker!
I interrupted Misty's scandalous rendezvous, but she quickly becomes interested in a battle once she sees my Johto badges. Now listen up, kids, because this is where things get saucy. Remember when I said my team has trouble against water types? Well, turns out it is especially screwed against Misty. I wasn't prepared for her Golduck having Psychic, which left Jet quivering in fear. I sent in Snowball to tank a hit while I got Jet healed up, but then...
I'm in danger!
I can't believe it took 3 switches just to take out a Golduck. And the punishment's only just starting because guess what? Lapras has Blizzard. Damn, that focus band is doing work this fight. Snowball was able to take out Lapras and Quagsire, but then comes the Starmie, who Misty must have been starving in a cage for weeks because... This is how close I came to losing this fight. Somehow, some way, I managed to break through confusion twice while she missed her Surf 3 times in a row. Nothing like a healthy dose of PTSD before moving on to a new city. Seriously, that was awful. Holy shit. It's time for Snowball to get a power boost, so I gave her Attract and got rid of Rest. Trust me, this is gonna make a huge difference, as will capturing this Chansey when I later realized that I need Flash for the final area. It turns out that wacky Rocket member had stolen a piece from the power plant, and I got Zap Cannon for returning it. And teaching this piece of move to Coco was a huge mistake. You can never rely on it to hit when you need it most. Fuchsia City hasn't changed much besides the Safari Zone being closed. Good, that place sucks. Now that Koga is a part of the Elite Four, who better to take his place as gym leader than Janine, his own daughter? Cross-dressers? In my Pokemon game, it's more likely than you'd think. When the real Janine opened with a Crobat, I thought I might actually be in for a good fight. No, Janine, you weren't going to beat me with a Venomoth, and I'm offended that you thought you could. Bicycle, bicycle. Celadon City is almost exactly the same. The Game Freak devs are still around in their office, and the graphic designer even has a detailed drawing of a pretty girl on his computer, which could be a reference to being able to play as a girl in Crystal. Here's the best held item in the game just sitting in a trash can. That is going straight to Snowball.
is fired.
Burn to the ground! Burn to the ground!
What the hell is that?
Instead of using a pokey flute to wake up Snorlax, you tune into the right station on your radio. I would really like another Leftovers, but tiptoeing around this dude so you don't kill it when it can rest to heal up at any point makes it one of the most aggravating mons to catch in the series. A heavy ball would have helped, but wouldn't you know it, I'm fresh out. I cut its turns in half with Attract and tried desperately to freeze it with Powder Snow. It simply would not join me. And yeah, I took that a little personally, so die. Viridian Forest has been trimmed way down from its original version, to the point where it's not even its own zone anymore. Probably because Game Freak was working with only a scant 710 kilobytes of space. That's less than 1 megabyte. This PNG of a hamburger is bigger than Pokemon Gold. There's no way Kanto would have even been considered if it weren't for the legend himself, Satoru Iwata. Yes, the man who would later become Nintendo's president developed a more efficient method of compression that allowed Gold to become a powerhouse of content. If you're a gamer and you don't have the utmost respect for this man, you should. I talked to this random old dude in Pewter City and got the Silver Wing, which lets you fight Lugia in the Whirl Islands. I will not be doing that because the Whirl Islands are dreadful.
The trainers of this gym use Rock-type Pokemon.
Time to find out if I'm as hot as Brock. Did not expect his Kabutops to have Giga Drain. Well, that's okay, because I'll bet you didn't expect my Crobat to have it either! As you can guess, he wasn't much trouble. I don't get it. This is supposed to be hard mode, where the kid gloves come off, and he's using unevolved Mons. And yes, I'm gonna bring this up again. Perfect chance to have given him a Pseudo-Woodo. Yet another gym leader with missed potential. If the rumors that this generation is getting another remake are true, then I really hope they fix missed opportunities like this.
I'm a snake.
And now it's time for one final showdown with Dirk, who is waiting for me in Mount Moon. Whoa, his model is different. Has he actually grown this time? Yeah, I still beat the pants off him because, come on, it's me. You can fight him again if you try entering the Elite Four on a Monday or Wednesday, but you never get that climactic final battle like in the previous game. He talked a lot of smack, but in the end, I think I showed him onto the right path. Nothing I could do about that hair and outfit though. Viridian City is pretty much unchanged, except for the gym, which has been renovated with, Lego blocks. The leader's not around, so I stopped at Pallet Town on my way to Cinnabar Island. Visiting Red's house reveals that he's disappeared, and nobody has heard from him. But he's out there, training, meditating, growing more powerful by the day, until somebody comes that can put his strength to the test. Oh my god, this dude's got an N64!
Get bonus!
Hell yeah, get bonus! Giving me a bonus boner!
Chincho, Quillfish, Corsola, Remoraid, Mantine, anything. Just please stop with all the tentacles.
Hey people.
Oh, Cinnabar Island ain't looking too good. It's been done in by a volcanic eruption, and apparently Pokemon centers are built out of titanium. God damn. Blue is here, pondering the destructive capabilities of nature. It's pretty clear the wheels were already turning in Game Freak's heads for the plot of the next game. So where is Blaine? Ah, of course! Homeless, living in a cave at the Seafoam Islands. That's rough, buddy. This was the only time in my playthrough that I fought a Magcargo, and it just sat there buffing with Curse while I killed it. His Magmar and Rapidash went down just as easily, and that was it. Too bad it wasn't the Blaine from the books. He has freaking Mewtwo, and believe me, their relationship gets pretty weird. Just when I thought I was done with all the smack talk from Dirk, now Blue's up in here trying to start some shit too. You're telling me you conquered all the gyms in Johto? Huh, Johto's gyms must be pretty pathetic then. This is pretty much a repeat of the final battle from Gen 1, which means it's no joke, he'll mess you up if you aren't careful. He even switched out my Graveler with Whirlwind to keep me from stacking up rollouts.
Wanna see me run to that mountain and back? You wanna see me do it again?
I fell back on some of my tried and true strategies for when things get tough. Smokescreen, Attract, throwing giant rocks. An appropriate challenge for the final gym leader, but compared to what's coming, hoo boy. Somebody call Chris Angel and tell him I am not ready. Mount Silver, a place most inhospitable to all but the most battle-hardened trainers. Just the path to the mountain base is choked with giant saluting bears, stabby sneasels, and horses wreathed in fiery infernos. And to make matters worse, and this always bothered me as a kid, Flash is required to see, which means my current crew simply won't do. I always hated how restrictive this was, but what can you do? Time to stick Dante on the bench and bring out Queen the Chansey, whose name I later changed to something much more appropriate. A Pokemon with this much HP can only be called one thing: Damn Girl.
Extra thick!
Other acceptable names include She-Thick, Olod, and Damn! But like I said, I'm not ready. 2 unevolved Mons and most of my team below level 50, I'll get beat to hell before I even reach my destination. So here's the plan. Play the Pokemon March on my radio to increase the encounter rate and grind my ass off. Blast through the Elite Four 3 more times for money, experience, and happiness for Chansey. Concern the residents of Goldenrod City as I bike up and down for even more happiness. And buy enough stat-boosting vitamins to toxify an elephant. Now, I'm ready. Habanero, the spicy boy with access to the powerful flame wheel and can resort to headbutt flinches and smoke screens when things get hairy. Nobody outruns Jet with his 161 speed stat. He hits hard with Fly, stupefies with Confuse Ray, and sucks him dry with a surprise Giga Drain. Gat the Gloctopus brings the shooty bangs with Psy Beam, Aurora Beam, and an accuracy-lowering Octazooka. Snowball's attractiveness will leave her foes speechless until they get surprised by an incredible show of strength. Damn Girl soaks up damage like a ShamWow and brings the disruption with Flash and Sing. And Coco, who is a Dragonite. With levels this high, I could have just used a repel and had a leisurely walk through the mountain, but I have a bunch of ethers that need using, and soft-boiled, which can heal my crew outside of battle. Just like the Victory Road, this place isn't nearly as big or complex as I remember, though something I do remember with acute annoyance is that this is the only place in the game where you can catch a Larvitar, right before the end of the game.
What are you looking at, ass?
Back then, I didn't have any friends to trade or battle with, so the prospect of training up one of these dudes just to use them in one fight was absurd, and it's such a shame. We all know what a certified BAMF Tyranitar is. Well, here we are, the final doorway. Through here awaits one of the most difficult and iconic final battles of the series. Blue, Iris, Geeta? Nah, forget that. Get out of here with that. This is the battle that sent kids crying back to Johto. Let me set the stage for you. When I stepped through that door and saw a sprite that looked very familiar, I said, wait, there's no way. Is that? Oh my god. It was Red, the character you play as from the previous games. The character that I spent at least 100 hours with in my youth. I took those final steps forward, I pressed A to speak to him, and the music stopped dead. He has nothing to say. There is nothing to say. Here at the summit of the tallest mountain, a symbol of his mastery, his only desire is to give his accumulated strength meaning through combat with a worthy opponent. Well read, my old friend. They call this the world of Pokemon, but it's actually a world of champions. And it's time to find out which of us is just living in it.
Oh my god.
Think fast, Chucklenut!
Whoa, 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 hey, 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 hey!
I've got to go! What the fuck?
You're making me angry!
Venusaur! 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 Bam!
Yeah!
You're too slow!
Incredible power!
Good morning, mother.
First blood, double kill.
There can be only one!
Gen 2 is objectively the worst? Maybe it's rose-colored glasses, maybe it's childhood nostalgia, but I don't think these games are the worst in the series at all. I'd argue that title goes to Diamond and Pearl, if anything. I actually played Pearl, and the only things I remember are the neat little mining game you play with the touchpad, and Gastrodon. That's it. Some questionable design choices and missed potential don't spoil the whole game. I love the Japanese aesthetic and the heavy forestation. It's my favorite region to travel through because of that. I adore the soundtrack. People generally tune out whenever I start talking about music, so I kept that to a minimum, but trust me, I could go on about the music. I really like the new roster, which I think is notable since it's one of the things I'm not wild about in Ruby and Sapphire. Just look at hot dog-handed, crotch-beaked, up eyes over here. And while it's mostly superficial today, tracking the actual time and making it night or day accordingly, along with daily events and activities, it was the coolest thing ever when I was a kid. If we're gonna throw around words like objectively, then at the very least, I think it's pretty safe to say that Gold and Silver is objectively better than Blue and Red, because they took that original formula and expanded upon it in more ways than the series has done since. I respect so much what Game Freak accomplished with Gold. Hell, even just being able to play on an original Game Boy was huge for the kids that didn't have a Game Boy Color, like me. A little story for you. I used to play with an AC adapter since, you know, batteries cost money. One day it stopped working, and when my dad couldn't find a replacement for the original Game Boy, he just up and bought me a brand new Game Boy Color with a new adapter. He rarely did things like that, so I was pretty stunned. It's one of my fondest childhood memories, and naturally, it's tied to one of my fondest childhood games. I love this game, and nothing anybody says about it will make it anything less than an absolute treasure in my eyes. I'm not sure how to end this video.